Well, hello all. It is very early in the AM, 3:48 here on Sunday, January the 17th. 3 a.m. in the morning, the witching hour? That's the witching hour, right? Well, I guess it's a good time to have watched The Craft Legacy. I just got done finished watching that. Yes, I did. Now, I must say the first one, it's very ingrained in my teenage experience. It was one of those movies that just kind of it came on cable a lot when I was hanging out with my friends, and it's kind of one of those movies where, yeah, like we watched it a couple times because it's like we'd always find it somewhere in the middle or whatever. We just kind of thought it was, kind of cool, kind of supernatural, kind of powery kind of thing. So the first one, I love the first one. Feruza Balk is the queen of everything, is the head badass bitch in charge. Like, there's no doubt about that. I actually I wrote some stories when I was a teenager, and I kind of created this villain based around like her batshit crazy in that movie. Um, so I will try to talk about this as much as possible. There's going to be spoilers later, but don't worry. I will try to talk about it without going into spoilers quite yet. And then maybe talk about how it compared to the first one. That was one of the biggest things. Like, is this a remake? Is this a reboot? Is it a continuation? Is it a sequel? I don't know. I've watched the movie, so I know. If you haven't watched it, I don't know. Unfortunately, a lot of things in this movie just kind of happen because they want it to. It kind of seems like. And actually, I watched the deleted scenes, and there's one in there, like, for instance, this is a little bit spoilery, but the new student, her first day, she kind of has a little accident, and she's made fun of for it. She gets her period in the middle of class, which is embarrassing, definitely, yes. And the girls just kind of like follow her, and it doesn't really seem to be for any reason. And it's like, and then they, I guess that's, see, as another spoiler kind of thing. Like, they're just like, oh, you have a necklace. Like, your necklace is, it has the symbol or whatever. So it's just kind of like, they just kind of follow her for no reason and just happenstance to find out that she is a witch, you know? But one of the deleted scenes was there's actually a grandmother character of one of the other three girls, and she says something about the reckoning will come with blood. So, like, if they'd left that in there, at least they could have been like, oh, my grandma, who's, a witch, she mentioned something about blood, and there's blood, and blah, blah, blah. Or this movie could have done a lot better establishing from the very beginning. Like, once again, they tell you they're outcasts. That's how you know in this movie, oh, we're outcasts. They don't really show you that, you're just told it, so you are supposed to believe it, I guess, in some ways. Sometimes the girls in this film are a little bit annoying. So, I mean, I guess I can see how maybe nobody would want to sit with them at lunch, because they're like, oh, nobody wants to sit with us anyway, So it's kind of, once again, it's hard for me, I guess, to disassociate it from the first film when they did a better job of, and that's part of what I think it is. This is just a regular school that these girls go to, I think, and in the original one they go to like some kind of Catholic religious kind of school. So of course these girls with the, with the dark hair and the dark makeup and the, like, they're kind of the outcasts, because they're like, oh, Jesus doesn't like that shit, you know what I mean? Like, they're kind of the gothy kind of girls, so they kind of stand out from everyone else instead of just being like another student in the school kind of thing. I don't know. So I don't know. A lot of times I just kind of feel like whatever they need to happen in the movie just kind of happens. It's kind of hard to explain that without getting into spoilers. I don't know. It's just kind of like, I guess I'll just say from now on there could be spoilers. I don't know. It's kind of like later on they just kind of they get upset at the one for like, and they try to give a reasoning behind it. There doesn't really seem to be as much witchy stuff in this film as in the first films. Because see here I am comparing them again. Because that's what in the first film, I guess spoilers if you haven't seen the original Craft. I assume if you watched this, you've seen the original Craft. But that's how they find out that Sarah, I believe her name is, she's a witch. She's sitting there in class and she's bored and like her pencil stands on end and it starts like, you know, drilling into the desk, and then they kind of go, and then that distracts her, and then the pencil falls and whatever. So like they have a definite like, she's a witch kind of thing, you know, or she has some alternate abilities, you know, that we might be able to tap into, and that's what I mean. The first film, like each girl kind of has her own story, kind of has her own adversary, kind of has her own, you know, like there's a lot more, I feel like, development with the girls in the first film than there is these. It's like, we're outcasts, we're weirdos, nobody likes us, you know, and so I guess we just, okay, I guess that's just fine. Okay, we're just made to believe it, I guess. So I don't know, I feel like that could have been done better. With that, I was trying to like judge it kind of on its own, but it's like, I don't know. They just kind of, there's like one spell that they do, and it's kind of like a minor, well, I mean, they kind of have this montage of them doing a whole bunch of different spells and different things. You know, but there's like the one main spell that they do, and that's what in the movie that's what I'm saying, like each girl kind of gets her own little, like they kind of do a spell here and do a spell there, and then they're made to learn that, you know, their actions have consequences kind of thing, you know. And I guess watching the deleted, or some of the, well, the special features just kind of automatically played after the movie was over, but and they were talking about, you know, these girls coming together, and I guess it's very women's empowerment-y, or kind of like feeling comfortable in your own skin. There's a transgender character, there's a character that comes out as bi, kind of thing, you know, so it's kind of like accepting yourself for who you are and kind of blah 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 kind of thing. I don't even necessarily know that comes across as much as they want it to. There's some things in there, like once again the character, I don't know how much I want to say without just in case you watch the film. I don't want to get too spoilery, I guess. But anyway, I don't know. Just leave it at that. And how it compares to the first film, I guess I'm kind of saying it doesn't really. And I don't necessarily know that it does much to stand on its own either. To be honest, really. I mean, yeah, is it the main question, is it a reboot? Is it a continuation, a sequel, kind of whatever? Because that's what I mean. They even show you on the back of the thing here, there's Veruza Balk being batshit crazy Nancy, you know? So you're led to believe that will be a part of the film. And nothing in this film is that difficult, really, to figure out. You know, they kind of spend a lot of time, like I was looking at the hour mark or whatever, or what time it was, and it was about an hour into it before they kind of started getting into some of the stuff. Most of it was just kind of like that first spell that they did, and kind of like not even necessarily the fallout from that, because in the original movie there was fallout from what, you know, happened or whatever. And then of course, you know, somebody went drunk with power, batshit crazy, you know. Unfortunately, well, I don't think you could. It would be difficult to match Fairuza Balk's energy from the first movie anyway. So I mean, I guess it's a good thing that maybe they didn't attempt to even. Spoilers, I guess. It's good that they didn't maybe even attempt to go there. There is eventually, an adversary that they find. Once again, not that difficult to suss out. I don't know. I don't even, like I said, I don't even necessarily know that, like, being comfortable in your own skin is really comes across that great. I mean, they're happy being witches or whatever. They enjoy, and even like, I don't even know. There's like one where they're like doing some kind of spell in the middle of like the lunchroom, and then everything like freezes. I think that's part of that montage or whatever. And then it's kind of like they're looking through the book. Now, see, that's there's some details I don't remember necessarily from the first movie. Like the book that they use in this film might be the same book that the girls used from the first film. I can't honestly remember. But I don't know. There's kind of some drama later, and it felt kind of a bit forced and kind of like thrown in at the last minute for shits and giggles. I don't really know. Just kind of to like, I guess, weave the last little bits out of it, I suppose. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't compare to the first, I will say. Now, I mean, they do have to come together, to fight the adversary. So even though at one point they're like, oh, well, maybe we should just take a break from magic for now, they decide not to later to, take down this adversary, and they do have to do it together. So I guess that's kind of what I guess that's their empowering like hero moment when they, get to do what they do and fight this adversary that comes along. Kind of all of a sudden, I mean, there's a few plot points dropped here and there, but mostly I would say it's more of a drama than, the first one was more of a drama too. I guess there was cool magic scenes, in between, where like, Sarah's changing her hair and, all this other kind of stuff. Where there's all the butterflies and the blah, 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 so I don't know. I guess it's kind of hard for me to, like I said, separate it from the, from the first one. To this one, but like I said, I don't know. It just kind of like stuff just kind of seems to happen because they write it that way, kind of thing. So I don't know. There's a legacy here, I suppose, and I will be interested if there's another one, but I don't know. So sometimes you got to get through that first one just to like introduce everything, and then sometimes if they go further with it, they're able to tell a better story, I guess. I didn't feel like there was actually honestly much story to this one, other than they kind of do a spell and then I don't know. It's kind of it just doesn't seem to be very much there, and then another spell is done, and that kind of causes something to happen because the person was already under the effects of. That's something they don't really explain very good either. Well, I guess they do explain that later. So, but that's like the catalyst to for them to decide that they that she was using magic recklessly. But then they do, later, the three of them, like, they're like, oh, didn't we do the same thing because we did that without his consent, kind of thing. So they do at least question themselves. It's not like they, like, give themselves a free pass and then, like, just kind of gloss over the fact that they basically did the exact same thing. So props there, I suppose, points for that, But, but yeah, it's just kind of like I don't even know how much these girls are supposed to know about magic. It just, I mean, the movie opens up with them playing around with it, and then they know they need their fourth and whatever and blah blah blah. And I guess they didn't really discuss the backgrounds. There's a deleted scene in the original movie where Nancy kind of attacks the other two, like I stayed with you, blah blah blah, and that kind of they don't, but they already knew magic in the original movie too, and they already know magic in this one. Although the fourth doesn't seem to really know necessarily that much about it. Like they have to like teach her, and so I don't know if she's supposed to know about magic, and then or if she finds this out about herself later, and she's like, oh my god, I have this power, whatever, blah blah blah. I feel like she didn't really know much about it, and then they had to teach her about it later. I feel kind of even though her mother always taught her, there was a saying that her mother always taught her about something about her power or whatever, and then she realizes, oh, that's what my mother meant all along, which once again I guess is an easy beat to do, because it's kind of like, oh, my mother always talked about my power, I guess that means that I've always had power, okay, I'm a witch now, kind of thing. I don't know, everything just kind of seemed to happen a little bit too easily, which I've said like 3 or 4 times already, so you've already got that point, how I feel about that. I don't know, if there's a continuation, I'm interested to see where it goes. For reasons. If they decide to make another one. I don't know. Hopefully I don't know, maybe dig into the story a little bit more, or do more with the story, or, I guess you don't necessarily have to have one of them go, like, batshit evil, since they're supposed to be, good characters, I guess. I mean, nobody was really necessarily bad in the first one. I mean, one of them kind of went off the rails a bit, but there again, we're given the story of her life and what happens, and, when she goes home, and, like, like we can see where her anger and her rage came from. That's not necessarily true with these girls. They're just kind of like, oh, hey, we're witches. And they're like, okay. I don't know. So maybe if there is a continuation, maybe dig into the girls' stories a little bit more. And maybe it would have helped if they'd left the grandma character in there, because it's just kind of like, I don't know, glitter and rainbows and unicorns farting glitter and rainbows. I don't know. They kind of come off kind of, like I said, the characters in this movie are a little bit annoying. They kind of come off like some kind of Lisa Frank, like I don't know. Maybe that's why they're different. Maybe that's why nobody likes them. Maybe that's why nobody wants to sit with them at lunch or whatever. Maybe that's why they're not liked. Because they tell us, the movie tells us, oh, we're not liked. So I guess that's true for the narrative to work. I don't know. So yeah, not maybe skip this one if you're a fan of the first one. And if there's another one of these, you might check it out. I'm just saying. For reasons. Anyway, so I feel like I've repeated myself 4 or 5 times by now. I don't know. I mean, maybe if you've never seen The Craft and you watch the movie, maybe you'll have a different experience with it than I did. Because, yeah, I mean, if you're just watching it in terms of, like, an empowerment story, it's kind of like, is that really there either? Like, I don't really know, but maybe I'm too busy like comparing it to the way they, the first one showed us these girls' stories and blah blah blah, and how we didn't really get any stories whatsoever in this one, other than nobody wants to sit with us at lunch. Oh, okay, well I guess you're outcasts then. Okay, that's fine. I don't know. So maybe if you watch it not being a fan or not having seen the first one, maybe you will feel differently about it. I don't know. But there you go. That's it. So anyway, I don't know. I still have my Loot Crate video to make someday. But other than that, I guess that was my review. I mean, you can still watch it, I would say, if you're a fan of the first one. Just, don't expect much, I guess. Because it's, how does it compare? Not really at all, to be honest about it. So, I mean, it's okay-ish, you know. There's a story-ish. But anyway, that's how I feel, and I will see you for when I see you.